Step 2 for intimacy anorexia. After you admit that you're powerless, you come to step 2. And in step 2, let me read it, and then let's go ahead and walk through it. Step 2, came to believe a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Came to believe. Let's talk about that whole word, came. When you come to believe, that's a process, and the steps are all process. You are coming to believe something. Now, when you came to believe that you're an intimacy anorexic, I know that wasn't the best day of your life. I know it's not fun to believe that your heart has been withholding. I know it's not fun to believe that you have been, busy and blaming and criticizing the very person you said you would love, honor, and cherish. But as you've gone through probably the material or the YouTube videos or the book or maybe the sponsor or therapist you're talking to, and you start looking at it and going, yeah, I am busy. I do blame. I do withhold love. I do withhold praise. I withhold sex, or I'm disconnected. I'm not sharing my feelings. I'm withholding spiritually. And you go, wow, like this is fitting me. You're in the process of coming to believe. And coming to believe that your intimacy anorexic is probably one of the hardest addiction processes to come to believe. Because as an anorexic, you don't want to be bad. You live in an object relationship. There's a wonderful Joe and there's the bad Joe. And you want to be the wonderful Joe or Jane all the time. And this is not, let's just say this is not wonderful that you're doing the anorexic behaviors. So coming to believe is almost accepting that you're flawed, accepting that you have an issue, accepting that you are doing something that doesn't make sense. And you're coming to believe that what you're doing isn't rational, doesn't make sense. Even when you look at it objectively, like, why am I withholding from this person I really, really love? So coming to believe, it can take external pain, like your spouse saying, I want a divorce or separation. It can take you coming to a personal crisis, but there's usually some incremental steps that go along the way. And maybe it's the whole recycled conversation you have with your spouse of, I feel married and alone. I feel like we're just roommates. I feel like you're my friend, but not my lover. And you've had this conversation ad nauseum. And you're like, we've got to fix whatever this is. So you're coming to believe. Now, I like that word believe. Believe is not understand. The step is not coming to understand I'm an intimacy anorexic. It's coming to believe. Now, believe is something you do with this, the heart. You believe with your heart. The believing system is the most powerful system of the human being. It is where we really accelerate and are unique in the whole world of creation, because we've been given the power to believe. We can believe there's a God, we can not believe. We can believe in Santa Claus as a little kid, and we can not believe in Santa Claus. We believe and we come to believe. Now, when you believe you're an intimacy anorexic, well, then you can start taking responsibility like you are right now by watching the step. You believe that you have an issue and that you can make some progress if you do the work. You believe that your spouse is not responsible for you withholding. You believe it. And because you believe it, you're doing this, you're educating yourself, you're going to group, you're making phone calls. See, believing has measures. When I believe I want to change my life, I'm doing things to change my life. When I believe that I want to obtain wealth, I'm saving money, I'm investing money. When I believe I want to get better healthy, I put myself on the scale, I set a regimen, I hold myself accountable. When I believe I'm an intimacy anorexic, I am doing the things it takes not to be. So if you're coming to believe, you already have behaviors that support your believing. Now, if you're coming to understanding, you're just reading stuff. You're just collecting data. You're just watching Dr. Weiss talk again, and that was really wonderful, but there's no change. There's no movement. You're not asking for help. When you come to believe you're an intimacy anorexic, you know you need help. You know you can't do it by yourself because you just did step 1. You come to believe that you're powerless, okay? And that you really do need help. So if you're coming to believe, you're in an incredible process. Now, this word a power greater than ourselves, we need to dissect that. Because in the 30s, when they said a, it still means a, like today. It means one. A job, a spouse, a building, a dog. When you say a dog, you don't mean a team of dogs. There's not a lot of greater powers. There's a greater power. Now in step 2, and this is in the 30s, and back then in America and Western culture, there was basically Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism, and very few other things in America at that point. They didn't use the word God because they knew that the alcoholic needed kind of a softer entrance into spirituality, because back then being an alcoholic was so bad that they didn't feel like they were good enough for God. So this is the one thing they changed early in the 12 steps, was this whole phrase, okay? A power greater than ourselves. So it's a singular power. We're not looking for multiple powers, not looking for something insignificant. And it is power. It is not object. I can't say that the doorknob is a power greater than ourselves. And be careful here, because some people use the word higher power. The word higher power is not used in the 12 steps. And people who want to avoid a singular power use the word higher power as if it's in the 12 steps. It's not in there. You can read all 12 of them, and we'll go through them one at a time. You will not see the word higher anywhere. It's a power greater than ourselves. Now, power is a great word, okay? Because there's a lot of hope when you see the word power. Things can change, things can move, okay? Greater than ourselves. So, and I've had people in recovery in my practice for over 30 years, and sometimes they come up with something cute like, my power, my higher power is the doorknob. Like, it's not possible. Why not? Well, it's not greater than you, because you could create a doorknob. You need to come up with a power that is greater than you. And then they get a little more creative, and addicts are very creative people, and they say, well, my group is my higher power. Well, first of all, the word higher power is not in 12 steps. It didn't tell you to go look for higher power. It told you to go look for a power. Okay? And then the word ourselves is actually plural. It's not ourself. It's not a power greater than Doug. It's greater power than the entire recovery community. When they wrote the steps, it wasn't that a power greater than Dr. Bob or Bill W. It was a power greater than the whole AA community. Now that has to be a pretty significant power. So you can look and find, but you need to find something that is singular and greater than a group of people. So if you're looking at things that are something that you can create, you're going down the wrong path. If you're looking at something that someone else created, you're going down the wrong path. If you're looking at another person, your spouse cannot be your power, okay? Because they're not greater than ourselves, okay? You need to find, in the group itself, and I'm all about having support groups and having a team, building a team and maximizing your team, but they themselves can be helpful, but they are not A, singular, and B, they are not greater than ourselves because they are themselves, okay? It's like saying, I'm looking for you to find a number greater than 10, and you bring me 10. No, you need to find a number greater than 10, okay? And it's not human. It's greater than ourselves. So, if you've never done that, open your heart and say, okay, God, universe, power, spirit, I need to find something greater than me. Help me out here. And I realize some of you have no spiritual training whatsoever. And you know what? That's an okay prayer. Some of you have lots of spiritual training, but you don't listen to it. You've never really let that power be your authority. You've never let it be the one. You never let it be A. Could restore us to sanity. I love that this power has power. I love that this power wants to restore me to sanity. Now, if you're an intimacy anorexic, you have lots of insane behaviors. You know that. It's insane to withhold sex. I can't tell you how many beautiful women have been in my office with an anorexic husband, and they're like, this is insane. I go outside and guys look at me and my husband doesn't want to have sex with me for months and months at a time. Unless I beg him, he won't touch me. This is crazy, Dr. Weiss. I go, you're right. This is crazy. Okay? And if you're an intimacy anorexic, withholding love from someone you say you're going to love, who you promised you were going to love, who you probably had a whole ceremony to say, I will love you, and then not do it is insane. So if you're an intimacy anorexic, acknowledging some of the insane behaviors you have as insane are really helpful, because this power, once you acknowledge that, can help restore you, can be part of the process, and can be part of that team that helps you love the person you say you want to love. To be romantic, sensual, sexual, playful, encouraging and nurturing and celebrating the whole scope of what love is to that person, and give your whole heart to that person, and to be a sane lover towards that person. When you make the goal of being their lover, the intimacy anorexia doesn't make any sense. The structures to protect yourself don't make any sense. And you begin to shed them one by one, and every system you set up to create distance begins to melt away. This power can help you be restored. My hope, cry out to this power, even if you don't know the name of that power. You can just cry out, power, I don't know who you are, but please help me, I'm insane. I've seen miracles happen by that prayer. And then continue to grow and seek out a power greater than yourself. Now, if you are not part of our subscription, please do, because we got a lot more steps. We got hundreds of other videos. So you need to click to subscribe. Now, if you have a question, please put your question in the box below so that I can answer it as soon as possible. So please do that. Click to subscribe, ask the question. We love you, and please listen to the rest of the steps.